Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for a post-match reaction video after Villa's 3-1 win at home to Barnsley.
3 points, 3 goals, almost... No, it's totally thrown my opening line. It's killed it. 3 points, 3 goals, third place is what I was going to go for. I've realised we've gone down to fourth.
You could say we were third place, but now we've dropped down to fourth.
3 goals, 3 points, third place for an hour or so until Cardiff picked up a point. Talk me through the game, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was in dream world after 8 minutes, and I was absolutely in jubilation with my dad, and then we suddenly remembered that we were 2-0 up after about the same time against Sheffield United, so reality set in a bit, and then obviously Barnsley scored a cheap goal off a set play, but then we just continued to play purposeful, good football in the first half, and obviously got the third at a good time from Conor Hourihane after great work from Grealish, and we were just completely in control in that first half. We played some really, really nice stuff, I thought, and then the second half, it's probably a bit more Barnsley. Maybe we took our foot off the pedal a little bit. I mean, Chester made a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes that could have led to goals, but in the end, it was a comfortable 3-1 win and a good 3 points.
There was sort of a shaky spell, wasn't there, for 10 or 15 minutes of the second half, but I think Bruce said after the game that the players took their foot off the gas a little bit, which when you 3-1 up at half time and you're not really being threatened at home, you sort of expect that a little bit, especially now we've got a bit of time to rest and recuperate, big games ahead. 3-1 up, you can't really complain about that, really.
No, I mean, I would have liked to have seen us gone on and push on in the second half and maybe try and take Barnsley apart. Obviously, we didn't do that. I mean, it's probably quite a natural thing. I tweeted at half time that I almost feel uncomfortable at how comfortable we were, because I'm just not used to it. From Villa, we're not used to Villa dominating football matches, and in that first half, I thought we looked like we were going to score every time we came forward. I think the midfield's got a real nice look about it, regardless of who plays that anchorman role, and obviously it was Bjarnason on Saturday. I just think Adoma and Snodgrass, Grealish and Hourihane. I think when Grealish comes like drifts wide a little bit and he plays close to either Snodgrass or Adoma, we just look so dangerous, and Hourihane was popping up all over the place in the first half as well. Obviously got his goal. I just think that midfield is so dangerous at the moment, and then at last we've got that striker on goal scoring form in Scott Hogan, which is what we've been willing and waiting to see.
Well, come on to Grealish a little bit later, but I think you nailed your prediction pre-game. Did you say 3-1 and Hogan score first?
I did. And
that's got to be a first, hasn't it?
I think I just about got my fan score in. Forgot to do that. I just missed the starting lineup, but I did get it in on time, so I must be doing all right now, actually.
I went 4-1, so close, but...
No cigar. But then it could have been 4-1, couldn't it? Hogan nearly had the perfect hat-trick straight after half-time. To be fair, we started the second half, first 5-10 minutes. We did start with that purpose. Hogan hit the post, and we had another one. I think Adoma had a header, or didn't connect with a header as well. But you could tell from when we kicked off on Saturday that we meant business, that we were confident, and we played with a kind of swagger. I mean, I think Grealish always plays with a swagger, but the whole team seemed to play with it, and it was just really, really nice to see. Yeah,
you say it could have been almost 4-1. I think if the Barnsley goal hadn't have come when it did, I think we could have gone what we did against Bristol. We looked like scoring every time, but that sort of set us back a bit and almost sort of gave the players that feeling of, right, it's not over yet, we need to keep going, and we got that third goal, and then after that it was comfortable, and it was that point when you took the foot off the gas, whereas if it was 2-0, for a longer period of time before Barnsley got their goal back, it could have been 3-0, 4-0, and then you're having a field day then.
Yeah, but I mean, that's 8 goals in the last 2 home games. I wouldn't know when the last time was we had that kind of aggregate score over 2 home games. So something has clicked now, I think, attacking wise. Maybe it seems a bit simple to give all the credit to Steve Agnew, and obviously Bruce has got something to do with it because he's the manager. But since Agnew has come in, we do seem to have more about us going forward. I don't know whether having we've got 3 coaches now. One of them was a defender, one of them was a midfielder, and one of them was, and Agnew seems to work with the attackers. I don't know where he played in his playing days, but they seem to have their own units now, and Agnew's obviously worked very, very closely with Hogan. I mean, he couldn't get a goal for love nor money, and we couldn't offer him any service until Agnew came in, but he only touched the ball 12 times I think, on Saturday, but every time he does touch the ball now, it seems to be a genuine goal-scoring chance, and that wasn't happening for him before.
Yeah, that 12 touch stat, I saw that on a graphic the Villa post, and I thought, that can't be right, surely that's a typo somewhere. But if you have 12 touches and you score twice, then no one's going to complain about that. You mentioned Agnew. I think I saw somebody on Twitter say earlier that a lot of credit does have to go to him for changing the way we're playing, it seems. But as part of that, do you think that Grealish now is stepping up and he's the focal point when we go forward, and he's the one who's driving forward all the time? Is he bringing the best out of those forward players?
I mean, Grealish is an absolute monster at the moment. I've been championing him for a long time. I think he is a superb footballer, and when he's on song, there's no doubt he's better than Aston Villa in the Championship. But he wants to be at Aston Villa in the Championship, and he wants to get us out the Championship. I think the formation's something to do with it as well. That whoever's idea it was to go 4-1-4-1, it's proved to be a masterstroke, because that does seem finally to be a system that we are comfortable with. I just think other players, Grealish is confident, but the players around him are confident as well. I think he's probably our talisman at the moment, I'd say. I think since he's come back from injury, he's affected every game that he's played in, and the last 4 or 5, I think he's been absolutely brilliant. I mean, when we played Brentford and we lost on Boxing Day, I thought he had a really good game, Grealish. Even though we lost, he created chances for us. If I'm being critical, it'd be nice to see him score some goals, but he just offers us so much. He's just seems to have a reluctance to shoot. There was one in the second half where he just kept taking another touch, and he has a good shot. He's gone close in the last couple of games. He's got good technique, and he's got a good strike. I think once he gets one goal, he'll suddenly start to go on a run like Hogan has. The confidence will come with getting that goal. But his all-round game at the moment, he's unplayable at this level, I think.
Do you remember when he went on loan to Notts County? Well, I think Lambert was here then.
Yeah, I remember.
I was talking to some of the guys at fan cams before when we were waiting for you, and at the time when he was on loan at Notts County, there'd be a video pop up every so often that he'd scored a goal or set one up or whatever, and you'd watch that and think, he's far too good for League One, even at that age. I think the sort of style of play that you saw him deploying then, he's dropping past the winger, dropping the shoulder, cutting inside. You're seeing that now in the Championship. He's too good for this league when he's playing like this. And the comparisons with what he was like, because I watched the video earlier, there's like a 2-minute video of his best bits from Notts County. And even as a 17-year-old then, it's exactly the same player now. He's just more physical, he's stronger, he's bigger, he's more confident. So back then he was too good for that level. He's progressed and matured as a player, and now he's too good for the Championship. And hopefully when we get back, or if we get back in the Premier League, he's going to be continuing to be a focal point of Aston Villa's success.
I mean, it's a real shame he missed the main chunk of the start of the season with this injury, because who knows what kind of assists and goals he'd be on had he started the season. But since he's come back, he doesn't look like someone who's come back and not really had a pre-season because he was away with the England under 21s and someone who's had an injury. He doesn't look like that. Arguably, he was one of our fittest players from the get-go when he came back from injury. In the last few years, I actually think Aston Villa has stunted Jack Grealish. I just think he's been in and out of the team. He's been playing in teams that weren't very good. When he has played, he's played wide, and I think now he's getting that run of games. So that's one box ticked. He's playing centrally, which is where he absolutely shines. That's another box ticked. And he's playing with confidence, and he's playing with good players now. He's playing with players that understand. He's on the same wavelength as these players. I mean, Hogan makes intelligent runs. Adoma makes good runs. Snodgrass is very good at finding space. Horahan drifts into dangerous areas. So it was like when he was playing with Delph, Cleverley, Benteke. He was playing with good players, and now he's playing with good players again. People that understand that when Grealish gets the ball, he's going to keep it, and if they get themselves into good positions, he will find them, and we're reaping the benefits from that now. I think going into this final third, it's absolutely vital that he stays fit, because I do think he's the one that's knitting it all together, if I'm being honest.
I can see the comments now. There'll be people watching this going, it's a big overreaction. He's had 4 or 5 good games, whatever it is. He's not done it consistently, and that's fair. That's fair criticism. Over the last few years, he hasn't done it. We know he's got the talent, but for whatever reason, it's not happened for him. Maybe the team's not been good enough, the players around him, the management, the tactics, whatever it is. But now it seems to be fitting, and everything works for him. If the rest of this season now, he's continuing this form, he gets a couple of goals, a few more assists, people will have to start looking at Jack Grealish and going, he's a real talent now, and what we saw of him in the past, it just wasn't working for him. He's clearly got the talent in him.
But I still think it's to do with those reasons that I mentioned before. When you're a kid, you need to be playing with seasoned pros, people that are going to help you. He wasn't. He was playing with jokers, people that were taking the absolute mick. I mean, imagine what John Terry's doing for him behind the scenes. John Terry will be telling Jack Grealish at training every day how good he is, how far he can go, and to have someone like John Terry telling you that'll mean the world to Grealish. I mean, I think we saw when Petrov went back for that pre-season, when we thought he might make a comeback, the difference that Petrov was having, and you could tell Grealish was really happy. He's a confident lad, but sometimes you'll need someone to be telling you how good you are, and I'm sure Steve Bruce is doing the same. Last season, it didn't seem as if Bruce fancied Grealish, if I'm being honest, and maybe it comes down to that thing of not wanting to throw younger players in when things aren't going well. But if we've got a confident Jack Grealish, I think 9 times out of 10 things will go well. And this is an Aston Villa team that wins games now. We're not a joke. We've only lost 6 games, I think, all season. That's a really, really good record compared to Villa teams of the past. And if we are going to get automatics, which I think we're definitely going to push for now, Grealish will be a massive part of that.
Quickly talk about Bjarnason a little bit.
Yeah.
Not so much about how he plays. I think didn't put a foot wrong, looked comfortable in the position as he did against Forest, but more so about Bruce's comments after the game. He said something like, I had to play Bjarnason because I keep going on about if you play well and earn the shirt, then you deserve to stay in the team, or something like that. How important do you think that is as a manager for the players who maybe are on the fringes? They get the chance and they know that they'll be able to stay in the team. Bjarnason's proved that. Hutton's come back in at left back. He's proved that. Adoma, not in the squad at the start of the season, moves on to left mid. Looks like a brand new signing. How important is that for the rest of the squad?
Well, I think Tommy Elphick might take exception
to
that comment, because to be fair, he didn't do anything wrong for those 2 games he came in, and he lost the shirt. But maybe it's because Bruce knows that probably by the end of the window he won't be here. It's great, and that's what you need, and I think that's the way it should be. No one should be guaranteed to start, but the 11 that were out there on Saturday, they all deserved it, and they've all been playing their part. Like the last home game, Bristol City, where I felt everyone played well. I felt everyone played well on Saturday. I don't think anyone particularly did anything wrong, and Bjarnason looks comfortable there, and I think maybe that's the way forward for those home games where we're going to have to try and break teams down against the lesser teams. No disrespect to Barnsley, maybe you don't need a Jedinak or a Wheeler, maybe a Bjarnason's what you need there, and maybe once again because of injuries we've stumbled upon something. I mean, I didn't think he was as prominent as he was when in his second half against Forest, but he probably didn't need to be. He didn't put a foot wrong, and he's a good player. Iceland are a decent team, and he's got a good reputation and a good record for them. So we've known all along that there must be a player there. People have had their doubts and just write them off. But he's only been here a year. He's never played in England before. And I've said on the podcast and other shows, you have to give people time to settle in. And we sacrificed last season, in my eyes, in January when we made so many changes. But if you look at some of the players that we brought in now, Bjarnason's come in and played his part the last few weeks. Hogan's finally seems like he's settled, and we've got a way of playing with him. Horahan's a big part of how we play, and they were people that came in last January and they're fully settled now. So I think people forget that sometimes it does take time to settle, and sometimes for these players who haven't been at a club like Aston Villa before, they struggle to deal with the expectation. But everyone out there at the moment seems to know their job, know what they're doing, great team spirit, and they want to be a part of getting Aston Villa back up to the Premier League. And it really was a joy to watch at times on Saturday, especially in that first half.
So automatic promotion is obviously the target. It's the closest we've ever been since we've been in the Championship, I believe. 3 points away now. I'm going to read you a post that I read earlier. On the 23rd of December, after blowing the 2-0 lead against Sheffield United, we were 9 points off an automatic promotion place. We're now down to 3. This team is doing well. This season could still yet be great. We talked about plenty of times that it doesn't take long for a points gap to dwindle in the Championship with the games coming so fast. I think we've gained, 5 points on Cardiff or something like that over the last couple of games. The same 6 or so on Bristol, 3 or 4 on Derby. And we've still got those teams to come to Villa Park and play as well. And when we've only lost 1 at home or whatever it is, you're going to back us to do well at home. Yeah. I think somebody, did you hear Keith Winus on WM the other night?
I've read bits and pieces, but I didn't watch it.
I think somebody called in and said something like, we've got 10 games at home, whatever. If we win the majority of those and win half of the away games, you're going to be looking at getting another, I don't know, 30 odd points or whatever, end up on mid-80s, and you finish second. And it's that home form that I think is really going to push us on and get us to that second spot. I don't know whether I've ever mentioned this on a video, because I don't know what makes the cut or if I was even doing stuff on camera back then, but I've said for ages that I think second is what we'll get. I remember we talked about will Cardiff drop off, and they have. Derby have come into it. Bristol have been around there, and they weren't around there. And I still don't think that those teams will be able to carry on. I look at the other sides. I don't really see a team like Villa, if that makes sense. Like, we look to be on the ascendancy, where other teams are having their blips, and this side we've got is clearly talented and good enough to get promoted. It's just a case now of pushing on it and reaching that second place, or maybe first.
Oh, I can't see first. Even the most optimistic Villa fan, I'd be surprised if they could see first.
It's only 12 points. I don't think we were. I think we were more than 12 points behind Cardiff at one point. So
that's true. You
never know.
I can't see us making up that gap. I'd snap your hand off for second now.
Yeah, same.
If I was offered it all through the season, I've said if you offered me playoffs now, I'd take it. But if you offered it me now, I wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
So that tells you how much things have changed. I mean, for myself in particular, I think there's been a bit of naivety with the Championship. Like, there is a general overreaction, I think, when we do lose a game, and we will lose another game before the season's up without a doubt. But because as Villa fans we're not used to being in the Championship, I don't always think that we understand it. And when we lose games, it does seem to be this big meltdown. But we've never had our team have to go through this kind of run to get in the playoffs and try and get automatic promotion. So we don't know what it's about and what it's like. So when we do lose, there is an overreaction. But I think now the last few weeks has proved that if we do lose, don't get down about it, because this team's got a good resilience, and they bounce back when they lose games, and they have done most times they've lost games this season, with the exception of an iffy December, and the first three games or so weren't great. I think we've been pretty good, and I don't think we can have too many complaints, and I think we've put ourselves into a really, really good position now. We're about 2/3 of the season in, going into that final third now. Like you say, we're in the ascendancy. We've got that upward trajectory of league positions and form, and I feel like we're going to do it. I really feel like we're going to do it now, and I've not felt that way before. I predicted second at the start of the season, and I think I've said on podcasts that I didn't think we'd catch Cardiff, and obviously we have. There seems to be something in the air at the moment. I think people are genuinely now starting to believe. You
got players like Terry, and obviously Bruce has been here and done it before as a manager. I think they'll just know how to get across the finishing line. That final push where you have 15 games left and you end up winning 12 or something ridiculous, and you just smash it. It's that sort of, I don't know, you just step up a gear, and they all have. I don't know how to explain it. It feels right that we'll finish second. Now, obviously, you can see all the tweets from Birmingham fans in the summer when we finished 8th or whatever, and all these clips pop up again that we've been nowhere near and we've overreacted. But something just feels right, and hopefully that it's that feeling in your stomach is going to come true.
Well, that's all right, because they said they were going to finish ahead of us.
Oh, that's true.
At the start of the season, they said they were going to get John Terry over us, so I'm not really too concerned about what they think. If I'm being honest, and you throw me with the Blues thing now, because I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. I don't know what it is. I just think something has clicked now. And I was asking in fan camps, is this the real Villa in the Championship now? Is this the Villa we've been waiting for? And fingers crossed. And I really think it is now. And I remembered what I was going to say before. I don't think the atmosphere at Villa Park's up to much at the moment, which is a dangerous thing to say. Considering how well we've done recently, I think the atmosphere could be better. But what I will say, I think when it comes into that final stretch, if we're up there, I think Villa Park will be rampant. I think it will just change. As I say, the atmosphere is not what it should be at the moment. But I've got a feeling going into that home stretch, if we're within touching distance of second, or we're in second, I just think the fans are going to help us get over the line as well. I've just got a feeling the atmosphere is going to completely change, and it's going to be it's going to be like the 12th man that it should be. I think that's going to be helpful come the end of the season. So I hope we're up there, and I really think the fans will help drag us over the line as well. So that's it for today's post-match reaction video for the Barnsley game. Make sure you're giving the video a like if you have enjoyed it, and also if you think Villa are going to get in the autos, give the old thumbs up a click as well. Comment below with your thoughts on Villa at the moment, and comment if you were at the game what you thought of the display, and if you weren't at the game, also make sure you're commenting with your thoughts on Villa at the moment in general. If you're not subscribed to the channel already with your post notifications on, then if you could do that, that would be absolutely smashing. If you haven't watched the fan cams video from the Barnsley game, then check that out as well, because I really think that was a good, enjoyable and thoroughly fun to do. Fan cams, actually, I really enjoyed getting back in with the Villa fans, and it's great to see so many happy faces after the game. And with that as well, you just get the sense that fans are starting to believe that the dream is now on. The podcast is going to be recorded on Monday night, so that'll be out either on Tuesday or Wednesday. You'll be very upset to learn that I won't be in the podcast booth, but Tom Julian will be joined by Chris Dolan, so they'll be answering your questions and talking over all the prevalent Aston Villa topics. Stick with the channel, stick with the Villa of the Villa. If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.